Hello everybody, and welcome back to Pravus Gaming and More Bio Inc. Redemption with our Lethal Difficulty Guide series. We're going back to the life campaign in the hospital stage, because today we have to play with Asymptomatic. This is one of the worst scenarios in the game, bar none. Absolutely despise this one. It says 4 attempts down here. Don't be fooled, I just had to quit to the main menu when I realized it was a lost cause. It's actually more like 40 attempts. This is a really, really hard scenario, because we get no symptoms whatsoever. You see these fewer symptoms and fewer potential diseases? No point in picking those up. There is nothing to help you narrow down what diseases you are currently working with, aside from the momentum of each individual system. And I'll show you what I mean by that in just a minute. But yeah, don't bother going for those. Instead, we're going to go for weak diseases. I did go for the emergency boost because I know we are going to go to the emergency room. I'm going to pick up 2 random lifestyles and really hope that I get lucky with this. I'm shooting for good genetics, aerobic exercise, or strength training. Anything to save me a lot of points would be fantastic right now. Intensive care, we are going to go for the cheaper tests. For environment, we're going to go for slow collapse. Now, this strategy has taken me a while to develop, but it's the only one that has had a chance of beating the scenario on lethal difficulty thus far. It is to focus on lifestyles aggressively, but it is highly dependent on what damage is being done to several different systems. Now, right now, I'm feeling mostly okay by this. Mostly. I'm looking at this and I'm seeing most of the damage is concentrated in the muscular system and the cardio and the digestive. Everything else is... No, and the immune. Actually, this is terrible. Okay, so what you want to shoot for here is you want to see 1 or 2 systems getting most of the damage and everything else being less than 5. Right now, with 4 systems taking a lot of damage, this is going to be a little bit difficult. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually just going to go ahead and restart the stage. I know it's cheating, but you're looking for a really good start. Let's try this one again. Almost all the damage is in the renal system and the cardio. Everything else here is actually manageable. This is a good shot. I'm going to go for this one. Okay, so what we want to do is go for a lot of lifestyles, and the reason I've come up with this strategy here is because I have tried going for something where, like, you start really far down the tree with a bio point head start, try to diagnose things and cure them as quick as you can, and what I find is you do not have enough points or time to cure a whole system before it fails. And once it fails, everything else starts to fail in cascading failure, and you're going to lose, almost every time. Instead, what you can do is focus on the lifestyles, try to offset the damage in almost everything else, knowing that 1, maybe 2 are going to fail. You can try to make sure everything else can survive that cascading failure, which buys you a lot of time, plus you go to the emergency room pretty early on, which means you get a lot of extra bio points, which you can then use to prop up every other system, and then rapidly diagnose the one that is causing you issues. Maybe 2. In this case, the renal system, and I'm not even sure that I'm going to bother trying to prop up the renal system. Instead, what I may do is just assume it's going to fail, not bother going for things like moderate drinking or proper hydration. I might go for a little bit just to buy some time, but not a big deal. And instead focus on anything that improves the heart, anything that improves the immune system, respiratory, everything else. Everything else needs to get propped up. Some basic exercise would do that. The Mediterranean would do that. Meditation would certainly help. Good genetics would have been nice to have, but we're not going to get that lucky. So we're going to shoot for a few more lifestyles, quick as we please, and then pray that only 1 system fails by the time that we are prepared. And that way, I can focus on curing up that system. And if we can, then we have a chance of winning this. If we can't, well, we're screwed. This is a scenario that's taken me so many attempts. It actually got to a point where I actually just recorded myself playing again and again, hoping that maybe I could at least capture a footage of success because I was just wearing out my voice. Now, right now, I'm trying again, but we'll see. We'll see what works. So how are we looking as far as this? Okay, so we've offset some damage to the muscular system. That's now regenerating, which is good. That'll buy me time. So I want to see the same thing happen with the respiratory system and the cardio. What we should probably go for is fitness enthusiast, which gets me extra circulatory, muscular, respiratory, and immune. 4 things that I really want. The skeletal system's otherwise perfectly fine. So I'm not worried about that right now. But athlete, great choice right now. Really want to see that. And then we're going to focus on some dietary changes or maybe some immune changes with some meditation. All of those could be good, though a lot of that might be already offset just by going for the athlete. So far, this is actually a pretty decent run. We got lucky with the spread. We didn't get too many risk factors, which, by the way, is also quite random. I've had games in this where the patient had 2 risk factors and others where he had, like, 8. So it's really luck of the draw. There's the point. I'm really not a fan of just how much luck is required in this, but oh well. Again, we're letting the renal system fail. I just want to prop up everything else before it's too late. The digestive system does worry me. I really would prefer the digestive system does not also fail. But let's focus on getting the athlete. or a fitness enthusiast, sorry. Athlete would be good for extra respiratory and circulatory and nervous, all of which we do need. It is, however, quite expensive. So instead, I'm going to go for the Mediterranean diet. We have to go for proper hydration if you want to work on some more dietary changes, though. Okay, so -4, -1, 1, 5, and 4. The digestive system might fail. We can still survive if only 2 have failed, but not if 3 have failed. That's just going to be impossible. Athlete would be really good. So would meditation. I'm going to try for athlete, but we'll see what happens with that. Mostly because the immune system has a bit more life in it than the circulatory, so I'd rather do anything I can to pump this up more. Just a little bit more. But for that, we need a lot of points. We should be going to the emergency room relatively soon, which makes it a lot easier to get the points that we are going to need. It also makes all diagnostics and tests cheaper, which is very helpful for actually fixing the renal system. The good news is the renal system is actually one of the easiest to cure, in my view. There's only a couple of paths that can be taken, so if you do a couple of, like, far down the tree diagnostic tests, you're going to be fine. All right, now we're going to get those extra points that I'm looking for. Excellent. Renal system's going to fail any time now. Well, I don't say any time. It's going to fail. We know exactly when it's going to fail, and it's soon, though. Very soon. All right, let's go for the athlete. I want to get meditation next, but we can get that. We can also get some upgrades, but I'm going to go ahead and get the meditation first because we're about to fail. There it goes. All right. One system down. Now everything is taking damage. That's not reflected in the momentum changes. Hang on. Let's go ahead and grab that first. Done. It's not going to be reflected in the momentum changes here, but at least you can see that most things are looking okay. If we have at least 2 or 3, we can survive one system fail. You kind of need 2 or 3 upward momentum for every system that has failed if you want to survive. So circulatory system's not great, but it's also not absolutely horrible. Same with the immune system. So what we could do now is either try to prop up digestive, or we can finally start curing the, we could try finally starting to cure the renal system. I'm actually going to go ahead and upgrade for 20% more resources. If we can diagnose 4 diseases, we will get the extra harvest power, which is nice. Now, if we go to the renal system, what am I concerned about here? We could do a urinalysis. This would test all the way down the tree with sepsis, which is good. If that is there, then we learn about everything. Saves me a lot of time and points. It also does test for the kidney failure, which could tell me if the AI went down this tree at all or not. What are the odds he has lupus nephritis? Pretty reasonable, actually. This is another test we could go for. It might determine whether we have lupus or not. And considering we know that the patient was taking a lot of immune damage, it's very possible. It actually sets up really well with the renal and the circulatory damage that we were seeing before. He probably does have lupus. So the question is, do we want to go for the high-risk, high-reward play of testing for lupus nephritis? And if we have this correct, then we also detect the lupus in the immune system. Or do we take it slow, conservative, work down the tree, not wasting any more points than we have to? It's kind of a high-risk, high-reward scenario. And on lethal difficulty, I think you kind of have to do that. We could also alternatively try to cure the digestive system before it takes too much damage, but instead I'm going to focus on the renal, because what we can do, hopefully, is if we can cure the renal system and do an intensive care, then that offsets the damage that's being done to everything. Let's go for the urinalysis. That's an easy, cheap test that we can do. Could go back to this. I'm going to go ahead and pick up the proper hydration or the moderate drinking. Moderate drinking is better for the digestive. Let's pick that up. We're just trying to offset some of the damage being done. Now it's only -3. That's not terrible. We can try to survive this. Basically, everything is taken. We can treat it as if it's being taken -7 right now. Because again, just pretend that everything has, like, -3 when you have lost one of your systems. All right, we did find kidney cysts and kidney failure, not sepsis, and not the urinary tract infection. So he might have urinary incontinence, but he doesn't have any of these. That's very good for me to know. He probably does have chronic kidney failure, just guessing by the fact that we're so far down this tree, and he's taking this much damage. On the plus side, this also tests for the lupus nephritis, so this is working out really well so far. Let's go ahead and pick that up. Really hopeful for that. If we can diagnose a couple more things consistently, we can go for more upgrades. And if we can get more upgrades, then what I want to focus on probably is intensive care, because then I can go for the last upgrade that gets me an extra +1 for every resource, which obviously is quite good. Let's go for temporary hemodialysis and assist surgery. Okay, we've gotten rid of a lot of damage currently being done to the renal system, but if he has lupus, that would explain a lot of what else is hurting him. Slowly but surely. Kidney biopsy. What are we going to find? Hang on. I need points. Okay, we found something because I know my upgrade just changed. We found all of it. Okay, we now know exactly what is killing our patient. We are going to go for... I'm going to go for the corticosteroids. I know it's cheaper and not as effective, but that's okay. We're going to pick that up. Chronic kidney failure takes a good 6 points. We're going for whatever is cheap and fast at this point. I know it's not as efficient, but in order to buy myself enough time, we're going to have to go for whatever's fast and cheap. So hemodialysis is probably going to be fine. If we can get enough points, I'll go for the kidney transplant. The lupus find is also going to help protect our renal system. If we can regenerate our renal system and do an intensive care, then we've saved our patient. It's going to be easy from here on out. If we can do that quickly. That's the big question, isn't it? We could also try to go to intensive care and improve our lifestyles a bit. But for now, let's just go ahead and do that. Now we're down to -7. Okay, if we can cure the lupus, that'll probably take it down to like -4. If we can get it down to -4, I feel like at that point it is worth the intensive care. At that point. Because it'll offset a lot of damage being done to every other system, and -4, we might still have enough time to cure it the rest of the way. Maybe. Okay, we're going to go ahead and pick up the... Actually, I need to do the lupus cure right now. Let's go for it. We're going to do the corticosteroids. It's not as effective, but it is fast, so that's going to be good enough for me. That'll take it down to -5. Okay. That's close enough, I think, that we can probably go for the... let's go for the upgrade first. We can probably go for the intensive cares and try to save the digestive and circulatory system by doing so. And then we can just focus on lifestyles, build up everything else, and then it's just a matter of sitting back, generating points, and just trying to find out what the heck is wrong. That's the idea. Now, I need to think 12 points, which, lo and behold, that's what we have. Perfect. Intensive care. We're going to go for the... Oh, no, we need 14. Never mind. I thought we needed 12. Okay. Lupus has been cured, right? So, that's good. Now, let's go for the kidney transplant. Done? Okay. Now, if we can go for 2 more intensive cares, we will unlock the extra +1 per resource, which obviously is going to be quite nice. So I am going to focus on getting the fast diagnosis and the better lifestyles, which just makes everything else a little bit better. Just a wee little bit. Okay, so the renal system's still taking damage, but not so fast that I feel amazingly threatened, especially if we can improve our lifestyles a little bit more. So yeah, let's go for the fast diagnosis, better lifestyles. Now everything else should be a little bit better. So now, all of these systems are regenerating, immune system's taking no damage. It's just the 2 systems I was the most concerned about. If we can pick up a couple more lifestyles, namely things like proper hydration and a dietary change, we're golden. We're going to get that. And that's going to be even easier if I can pick up this last upgrade. So this scenario is going to be a win. Thank God, by the way. This has been such a freaking wild ride. I'm just not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of this at all. By the way, apparently we're no longer in the emergency room or something because we're not getting our extra points. Which makes me sad, so all the more reason to go for this as quick as we can, because I need the extra points. Yeah, we're not getting extras at all now. Okay, so apparently the danger is past enough that they don't think we deserve to be in the emergency room. Did I not get this? Why didn't I get the extra point just now? Hello? What just happened? Points? There we go. Now we've got points coming in. Okay, points for days. And we're back in the emergency room. Hey, we just got out. Oh, nope, never mind. Misdiagnosis, go back. That's fine, though. That's going to give me a lot of extra points so long as we're in here, and everything's cheap anyway, so that's great. I'm okay with that. Let's go for the proper hydration and the healthy diet. Everything is now either not taking damage or straight up regenerating, which is exactly what you want to see. Let's go for the corticosteroids. That's going to fix the immune system. Anything else to improve both of these, and they would regenerate. For example, if we went for the weight loss diet, no problem. But at this point, if they're not taking any meaningful amount of damage, I say we just try to diagnose whatever's left. I'm not worried anymore. I'm really not. I think we're going to be A-OK. Especially if we can stay in the emergency room, get cheap tests, and a lot of free extra points. That's always pretty fun. So we're just going to keep him on the brink of death. That's not immoral or anything, right? Oh, nope, we're out of the emergency room now. Never mind. Well, can we bring him back to... Oh, nope, I think he went right back to the emergency room. All right, so the digestive system, we never actually did anything as far as trying to figure out what's wrong. Let's go for the free exam, physical exam, the free stool analysis, the free rectal exam. Have we gotten... Wait, is this a bug? Do you get a disc... What was that? My God. Do you get a free, like, 1-point reduction every time you go to the emergency room? So the fact that we have technically gone to the emergency room 3 times has reduced the cost of everything by 3? Is that a bug? Oh, that totally might be a bug, but I am not going to complain. I don't think we need to do an infectious diseases blood panel right now. We are going to go for a metabolic panel, which is kind of a shotgun diagnosis. It tries to find a lot of things at once, which I do like. By the way, I don't really understand. Oh, okay, nothing there. And no hemorrhoids. Okay. Whoop, points. Want those. Thank you. I don't know why it shows polycystic ovary syndrome. This is a man. So I don't know why it's pretending that that's something it's going to test for. Pretty confident. Pretty confident. No Crohn's disease. But we did find high cholesterol, diabetes, gallstones, and pancreatitis. Okay, so that's the main problem he's having currently with his digestive system. Let's go for the fast and cheap pancreas surgery. It's not actually cheap, but fast anyway. Effective is what I meant to say. Let's deal with the gallstones, and let's deal with the insulin problems with digestive. Now he's going to see his system improve there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So what else is taking damage? The renal system is still taking damage, so I know something is hurting that. You know what? What if he has, like, testicular cancer? We're going to do an ultrasound test. This will also test for abnormal aortic aneurysms, as well as some of the circulatory things that we care about here. So let's go for that. We're going to go ahead and do the statin since it's the same price. It's more effective, and it's pretty fast, so let's do that. Okay. I like being in the emergency room. This is great. Can we do that again? Blood clots, but none of those. Okay, well, we did find something, so it wasn't a total waste. Let's go ahead and do that next. Now, here's the one downside of this strategy is it's very difficult to tell what's actually taking damage because of all the lifestyles. So we have to watch this naturally. I see damage being taken in the circulatory system, but that might just be from the, Well, we're back in the emergency room. This is amazing. Okay, let's do a free blood pressure test. And you know what? We'll also go ahead and do an exercise electrocardiogram because if he has high cholesterol and he does have hypertension, then he might have this as well. Okay, so that's all there. What else could be taking damage? I need to take a break from looking at points and see what else is taking damage here. The renal system is still getting hurt. Okay, hypertension, but no angina. Okay, that's fine. Let's go for the alpha blockers. What are the odds he has a stroke? The nervous system's taking no damage, so I'm going to go with none. No chance of that. He might still have urinary incontinence. We're going to go for a bladder diary and just test it real quick. Immune system's still not looking great. Let's do a neurological exam and nocturnal polysomnography because it's free. What the heck? Why is everything free? I love going to the emergency room several times. This is amazing. All right, let's do a stethoscope exam again because it's free. Spirometer test because it's free. This is the strategy, guys. Urinalysis, I think, is already testing for... No, we already did test for this, so that's not it. Prostate cancer? Let's do a prostate biopsy and find out. Let's just find out. I can't believe we freaking, like, broke the game. Nothing wrong with any of these things. Okay, well, that was a lot of whiffs. What else could be doing damage to the renal system, though? If not this. Leukemia. Let's do a test for it. So he doesn't have chronic fatigue. He might have some asthma issues. Let's go for a test there. No urinary incontinence. Finding the last ones is a little tough. No chronic fatigue. We already knew that because he didn't have insomnia. And we're out of the emergency room again. No leukemia. Okay, but he does have asthma. There we go, making progress. Okay, so what could be the final culprit is like tuberculosis or something. Which I think is no, sarcoidosis. I'm sorry. Let's go for the chest x-rays. If that is it, that is our final symptom, and we will be able to finish off this patient, which would be fantastic. So let's see what the chest x-rays turn out. There it is, sarcoidosis. We finally beat the scenario, guys. Now we just have to cure it, and we're done. I'm going to go for the fast one because that's all that matters as far as score. Now we just generate points and go for the best score we possibly can. So yeah, I never knew about that emergency room presumable bug. I guess the developers never really assumed that you were going to go out and then into the emergency room so perfectly. So if you can find a way to make that work, great, but I'm just going to say that that's basically impossible to try and deliberately do. In the meantime, though, the lifestyle strategy is definitely the best for this. I've tried everything else I could possibly think of, all the high-risk, high-reward plays, and nothing else has worked. This is the best strategy by a long shot. All right, let's see what score we get. We got 249 bio points, only 77% diagnosis efficiency, but that's to be expected when you're blind. And we get a final score of 6,800. Not as good as my last attempt, but otherwise not that bad. We did actually finish this faster than my last attempt as well, 217 days. But that's it, guys. That is the strategy. May God have mercy upon your soul if you're trying to follow along. Just don't get frustrated too much. It will take several attempts. But man, is it satisfying when you finally beat it. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If so, then be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time.